Hi, Patriots. A prominent Pan-Africanist is calling for Julius Malema to step down as the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, accusing him of lacking direction and betraying the principles of Pan-Africanism. Malema, who has long positioned himself as a champion of Pan-Africanism, recently organized a protest against Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, a leader who has been a staunch advocate of Pan-Africanism and has taken a firm stance against LGBTQ rights. The Ugandan leader's anti-LGBTQ position has drawn criticism from Western nations, particularly the USA, which has threatened to impose sanctions on Uganda. In a surprising move, Malema sided with the USA, organizing a protest against Museveni, despite his long-standing advocacy for Pan-African unity. This has led to growing discontent within Pan-Africanist circles, with many questioning Malema's commitment to the cause and urging him to resign as EFF leader. Let's watch the following clip from a Pan-Africanist expressing their concerns.
Julius Malema, I think it is the right time that you resign as the commander-in-chief of EFF. I said after elections I'll come back. Julius Malema, you marched against the President Yoweri Museveni in defense of LGBTQ. And you know what is the purpose of LGBTQ and why is it backed by Bill Gates. You know the reasons. I can't mention them because they will censor. There is no any Pan-Africanist that will ever stand with LGBTQ. We have got norms and principles that we don't compromise because we are dealing with this certain individual. Julius Malema, you said when you are in government, you are going to legalize prostitution, meaning that our African queens are useless. They can be legalized, they can be associated with the immorals of being prostitutes, and it must be legalized. Why not empowering our queens? Why not prioritizing marriages than to prioritize prostitution?
Welcome back, Patriots. But this doesn't end there. Julius Malema and members of the EFF have repeatedly called for the legalization of prostitution, which I believe does not empower African women. The idea of selling sex in Africa, supported by so-called Pan-Africanists like Malema, is deeply troubling. Legalizing prostitution, in my view, is a betrayal of the values that should uplift and protect African women. Instead of empowering them, it exposes them to further exploitation. This stance is in direct opposition to the true ideals of Pan-Africanism, which should aim to empower and dignify African women, not support a practice that degrades them. Not long ago, the USA announced that it would give South Africa billions of dollars to transition away from coal and adopt cleaner energy alternatives. However, I find it deeply concerning that South Africa, a country with a relatively low contribution to global warming compared to major industrialized nations, is being pressured to make this shift. Meanwhile, many countries closely associated with the USA continue to use coal and have no plans to stop anytime soon. What's even more troubling is that Julius Malema, who claims to stand for the people, didn't raise his voice against this move. The transition away from coal could lead to massive job losses in South Africa, particularly in communities that rely on coal mining and related industries for their livelihoods. According to the Minerals Council South Africa, the coal sector alone employs over 90,000 people directly, with many more jobs indirectly supported by this industry. The forced shutdown of coal operations could devastate these communities, pushing even more South Africans into unemployment and poverty. This situation raises questions about where Malema's priorities truly lie. While he's quick to protest against certain issues, he remains silent on matters that could have a devastating impact on our economy and people's lives. Accepting billions of dollars from the USA to shut down our coal industry might seem like a good deal on the surface, but at what cost? Are we willing to sacrifice our energy security and the jobs of thousands of South Africans for a solution that primarily benefits the global North, while leaving us to bear the brunt of the consequences? South Africa needs a leader who will stand up against such one-sided deals and advocate for solutions that benefit our people, not just appease foreign powers. Malema's silence on this critical issue speaks volumes about his true priorities, and it's time we hold him accountable for the impact his inaction could have on our nation. When you examine Julius Malema's stance on open borders, it becomes clear that his position is closely aligned with the USA's Democratic Party, as well as the Labour Party in Britain and the current governing party in France, parties that openly support illegal immigration. This alignment raises serious concerns about Malema's commitment to South Africa's sovereignty and security. There is no sense of patriotism in Malema's approach, no pride in maintaining our nation's boundaries and territory. Instead, he seems more interested in adopting policies that benefit globalist agendas rather than protecting the interests of ordinary South Africans. Open borders would allow unchecked immigration, which could strain our resources, increase unemployment, and exacerbate social tensions. As we look at the USA, the Democratic Party's open border policies have led to significant challenges, including strained public services and increased crime rates in some areas. Similarly, in the UK, the Labour Party's stance on immigration has been controversial, with many citizens feeling that their concerns about border security are being ignored. France, too, is facing the consequences of its lenient immigration policies, with rising social unrest and divisions within the country. Malema's support for such policies shows a lack of concern for the well-being of South Africans and a disregard for the importance of maintaining a strong and secure nation. His stance on open borders reflects a globalist mindset that prioritizes external influences over the needs and rights of our people. Let's listen to the final segment from the Pan-Africanist voice, who rightfully said that it's time for Julius Malema to resign. The need for true leadership that prioritizes the interests of South Africa and its people has never been more urgent.
Julius Malema, you have defended the vaccines of COVID-19. And you know what I mean when I'm saying? I'm only avoiding the censorship of what I'm saying. Julius Malema, you say nothing about global warming. You know it is a fallacy which has been prepared to deny the development of Africa in use of our fossil fuels. You say nothing about that. Last time I asked you, Julius Malema, why can't you put your boots in Burkina Faso? You know why. The reason you can't go to Burkina Faso is that those who fund you won't allow you to go there. You're compromised. Julius Malema, genetically modified foods. You know the mission of genetically modified foods in Africa. You say nothing about that. And how about the money from royal family of Britain? Julius Malema, you're totally compromised. The money from Patrice Motsepe. Patrice Motsepe is a capitalist. He is a puppet of the white capital monopoly. And you receive money from him. Why? Why also doing some coalitions with the DA in some of the local administrations? Why? Also your deputy president Chivambu graduating right straight in Britain, whereas you were in Kenya criticizing the presence of the British royal family in Kenya receiving a red carpet, but your own deputy going to graduate again there. You said about the land, you are only going to take the non-productive lands, the abandoned lands. Misleading our people, delivering the message we want to hear.